Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It is Chris back again with another weekly episode of Angler Talk. And this week, man, do I got a good one for you guys. But before we get into our guests, we're going to start off with a fishing report. The fishing in New Jersey is still going very strong. The summer flounder, aka the fluke that we call them up here, they're still biting pretty dang good. And I saw a post from the Big Mohawk at a Belmar. Got a Jersey 13-pounder. Yes, you heard that right. A Jersey 13-pound summer flounder. The summer flounder height definitely is still hot, and this is my favorite time of fluke fishing. August, September, that's when the big girls come around for sure. The sea bass is still only 2 per man, and that's still going pretty strong. We also saw a post from Johnny Bucktails today, which is August 11th, caught himself a nice 51-inch striped bass. Yes, people, the striped bass in the dog days of summer are still around for you to catch them. And the big girls came out to play today, Johnny. So this week we have Chris Stefani out of Long Island, New York, also known as the Long Island Shark Man. And it was fun to hook up with Chris and talk to him about shark fishing and everything that he does. And I hope you guys check it out and enjoy. And here we are with Chris Stefani out of Long Island, New York. How we going, buddy?
What's going on, brother? Happy to be here.
That's good, man. So I've been following you for quite a while now, man, and you are known as the Long Island Shark Guy on Instagram, and definitely caught my attention with some of these posts, man. These are some big girls you're bringing up.
I know. I've been doing it for a long time. How long you been following?
I've been following you, I would say, probably 8 or 9 months now.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I've been doing it for a while now. I love doing it. I mean, the whole fishing thing. I'm a big outdoorsman, so I started this account and it started going viral on the TikTok platform. Then I started the Instagram. Then one of the kids that I fish with, that I started fishing with, he's like, well, he's young. He may be like, he's 12 now. And he said, why don't you start a TikTok? And at the time, which was like 2 years ago, I said, I don't know if I want to do a TikTok. Like, I see all the kids and the girls doing it. I'm like, I don't think I need to do it. So then I was like, let me just download the app. I download the app, some fishing stuff pops up, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just start posting. So I started here and there, and then just shit started blowing up pretty quick. So I'm like, all right, let me do this. And then they pay you a little bit. Nothing crazy. Everybody thinks you get paid like crazy on there, but it's not. It's not enough to,
I totally hear you, man. And just like last week's episode, TikTok has been a good platform for some fishermen. I mean, I literally just go on it to just be entertained like most of the world does. I mean, but you find some really, really cool stuff. Like last week I found Game Day Lures. They make a phenomenal soft plastic. And, you get to see different styles of fishing, and it's pretty awesome, especially to see where you're swimming. What's lurking beneath the surface, when you're bringing up these big old sharks?
100%. That's funny you say that Game Day Lures. Is that because last night I was scrolling and I'm like, it's like soft plastics, all that stuff doesn't really pop up on my page. But is that the dude who he video records like him melting the soft plastics into the silk? Dude, I saw him today. That's funny you say that. I'm like,
yeah, man. He definitely makes some one of a kind creations. That's for sure. I mean, I've been fishing since I was 6 years old. Been going on 20 some odd years now, and I've never seen soft plastics in the game like this, like the way that this guy makes them. I mean, it's crazy. To refocus back on you, so how did you get into the whole land-based shark fishing? Shark fishing is not something that a lot of people think of, doing it from the surf.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be totally different.
It is. It's a challenge. I started like 9 years ago. I used to freshwater fish, not a lot. My grandfather got me into it up in upstate. I have a place in upstate New York, and I did some freshwater there. Then one of my buddies down here, on the island, he said, "Why don't you go? Let's go for striped bass or bluefish, right?" Mm-hmm. So we go over there. He taught me how to cast the big poles, and when you go from freshwater to saltwater, like the poles are bigger, everything's like on steroids. Like the pole's bigger, the freaking reel's bigger, the line's stronger, and you're like, what the hell am I catching? And then so we cast out, we catch a bluefish, and then I think we caught like 3 bluefish that day. I went home. I said, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then I wanted to go the next day. The kid at work, one of my friends, and I said, "Let me go by myself." So I went by myself. I bought some bunker. I threw the line out, and I was just sitting on it. I put in the sand spike. I'm sitting on my phone. I had a towel. I was by myself, not near anybody, and all of a sudden the rod just goes. Zzz, 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 zzz. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I get up, man. Dude, I run to the rod. I'm like, this wasn't a bluefish hit like the other day. I'm like, this is something big. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, I got a huge striper. Like, this is awesome. This is going to be sick. And this is when there was no slot for the striped bass. So I'm like, oh, I got a monster. I'm going to be able to bring home and eat, whatever. So I'm reeling. And it's taking line. I'm like, what the hell? And then it breaks off. I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
I go back to the bait shop. I said, listen, I need you guys to rig me up again. Like, I lost something big. They're like, yeah, whatever, the usual story. So then I go back to the same spot at the same day. I run back to the spot. I freaking cast line again. Whatever I just explained, the same fucking thing happened.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, the same freaking thing happened. So I go back to the bait shop. I said, listen, give me a stronger line, stronger leader, bigger hook, whatever. They said, okay, whatever. So then I go back out there, cast it again. And then on my way back down there, my buddy who I went with that first time, he decided, he was coming out of work because already like 2 hours had passed, 3 hours had passed, and he was coming out of work in the evening. I said, yo, meet me down there. Like, I just had something huge 2 times in a row. I guarantee you'll be on it again. So he meets me down there, and we cast the line out. Within like a half hour, boom, thing starts running again. Zzz, I'm like, holy shit. I go, I told you. So we go to get over there, and he's coming in. I'm bringing him in. I'm playing with the drag. And mind you, this is like the first time I had something big on, so I'm like trying to learn how to finagle the drag and work the drag. So he's coming in, and then we see him in the break. You see just the silhouette of like not big, maybe like a 4-foot shark. My friend's like, yo, that's a shark. Cut the line. I'm not bringing that in. I'm like, forget you, bro. I'm kidding. So I'm reeling it in. I go, yo, go grab the tail. He goes, I ain't grabbing anything. I go, then hold the pole. So I go in there. He goes, yo, you're crazy. You're going to lose a finger, bro. Just cut the line. I'm like, no, I'm getting this thing in. So I get it in. I take a picture, and I took the hook out, sent it back on its way. It was only 4 feet. From that day on, bro, I took the photo that I had. I went online, figured out what type of shark it was. And from that day on, I was just like, this is freaking awesome. And I just went to just go do it recreationally. And then I think my mom told me, she's like, why don't you post it on your page? So I posted it on my regular personal page on Instagram. It like got like 5 times the amount of likes that I usually get on just regular pictures. So then I would just keep on going to that same beach. I'd keep fishing there, and people would start seeing me, like the regulars that go to the beach, because I only go to this one beach, and would call them. They would be like, hey, look, the shark guy's here, the shark dude. And then like Shark Man, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just make a separate account. And then I just figured people were calling me Shark Man, so I'm like, I guess I'll just do Long Island Shark Man. And I made that the Instagram, and dude, that shit just started blowing up. Like,
that's awesome, dude. Now I'm curious, man. What kind of shark was that first one?
It was a brown shark.
Oh wow, that's nice.
It's also known as a sandbar shark. They get I think 7 or 8 feet long. And that was only a 4-footer, but I got like obsessed with it once I started researching it and like really getting into it. And now I'm just like, I'm all about sharks now, like everything.
Yeah, man, that thing definitely got you hooked. That's for sure, man. The first shark I ever encountered was when I was a kid. My pops used to have a boat, and we caught a shark, and it's peeling a line, and my dad brings it in, and he has no idea what it is. He's thinking it's some type of sand shark. And he went to go remove the hook. He didn't realize what it was until later on, and he saw some teeth. So he took it out with some pliers and then let it go. So we go over to our local tackle shop, which is the Tackle Box on 36, and my dad's explaining, hey, it had these kind of lines on it and this, that, and the third. And he's just like, buddy, that wasn't no sand shark. That was a tiger. Maybe a sand tiger or a tiger, but like, just people not being informed like that. You know, my pops definitely could have lost a finger or two on that one.
100%. A lot of people on Long Island, they think, oh, we just have sand sharks. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I bring sharks on the beach, and when I'm working with them, and people are like, oh, that's a sand shark, right? Like, no, that ain't no sand shark. There's big sharks around here that have teeth. Those sand sharks don't have teeth, and a lot of people don't realize that sand sharks are actually dogfish.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, they all are in the same family, but obvious, you got the aggressors and then you got the little baby boys, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Long Island is one of those places where it's possibly known as in the Northeast a fisherman's paradise. I mean, you guys got Montauk, you got the Long
Right.
Island Sound, you got everything out there. And is shark something you just exclusively target only?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, yes and no, because I also do the bait that I throw out, it's the same pieces, the same type of bait that you're going for if you're going for big stripers or big bluefish. I mean, sometimes I catch bluefish as bait, so I want to go target bluefish to keep bait, but I also eat the bluefish. A lot of people say it's no good and it's oily, and it's all how you make it. My uncle puts it in banana leaves, bro, and he bakes it. Holy shit, dude! It's the best ever. You wouldn't even think it's bluefish. And then also, if a striped bass hits, and it's the size limit, or a couple years ago, I caught a nice big one and I cooked it. I like eating the stripers too, but I mean, when I'm going out and I want to go for certain sharks, I target them, like the black tips, the spinners. There's even bulls. They just caught a bull shark because people are now starting to do shark fishing from the beach in Jersey. Somebody just caught a bull shark. Last year, I caught a bull shark on Long Island, and the hammerheads are heading up here soon too. So I'd like to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've noticed you posted one or two hammerheads on your page, and that's I'm not going to say that it's a scary thing because obviously you can tell over the past few years that something is changing, and whether it be the climate, the temperature of the water, something is going on. We're seeing a lot more southern United States fish coming up here. I mean, the mahi have always been here, but the cobia that are coming up. A couple of years ago, somebody caught a freaking marlin in Raritan Bay. That's just insanity. The bluefin tuna being caught, less than 3 miles inshore. I mean, something is going on. That maybe we need more science into it or whatnot, but something is going on, and more things are happening. And you brought up bull shark. That's probably one of two sharks that scare the crap out of me.
Because they are aggressive.
Because the thing is, like, a lot of people ask me, they're like, what would you, if you were in the water, if you had to choose, what would you rather be in front of? An orca, a great white, and this, that, and third? And I said, look, man, I'd rather be in front of a great white shark than a bull shark. And they say, why? And they say, because a great white, if it's not hungry, he's going to leave you the hell alone. A bull shark kills for pleasure, for at least what I've noticed and studied. They just enjoy shredding things up.
Right. That's what they're known for. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure they're like almost at the top of the list of the most aggressive. But like you said, the orca's great white. If it was my choice, I would first rather be in front of an orca. There has never been an orca attack on a human ever.
Yeah, but I know that orcas kill great whites, so you know what? I'd rather just take my chances with that one.
I know that's scary, right? I saw a video the other day of one grabbing a white and just like a rag doll, bro, taking it down to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, free Willy is not that friendly.
I know, but yeah, dude, the great whites, like, well, most sharks, honestly, they're not looking to eat us. You know what I mean? But if we're in their territory, sometimes they do something called an exploratory bite, or sometimes they go to bump you, or they try to nibble on you, and they realize that you're not their prey. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately, depending on the caliber of the shark, if it's a 4-footer taking a nibble on you and trying you, or you know what I mean, biting you and there's a school bunker around, that 4-footer is not going to do the damage that a 12-foot white's going to do. The 12-foot white, you could lose a limb, or it can grab a vital and you're dead.
And with most shark bites, I just think that it's just the wrong place at the wrong time. Because if you look at most shark bites, it's usually happening to somebody who's on a surfboard. Now, when you're plopped down on a surfboard paddling,
right,
what do you look like? You look like a seal.
Not only that, bro. What about these black wetsuits?
Yeah. So
The
you know what
black
I'm saying?
looks like a seal. I don't know why these companies don't make these wetsuits out of like neon colors.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unconsciously we're pretending to be what they normally eat. And
Right.
like if you notice, most shark bites are one, maybe two bites at the most. And
Never been
once
human.
exactly, once they realize that you're not their natural food source, they leave you alone. And
Right.
you know, it sucks because unfortunately a shark bite is going to be bad no matter what it is, you know, but it is what it is. And just like now, I know there's somebody in particular by the name of Joe Cermelli. I know he loves this movie, but one movie that really pissed me off in history was Jaws. It gave sharks such a bad name.
Such a bad rap, dude. I've never seen that.
You never seen Jaws? I mean,
Everybody
I
would
saw it
like,
when I was like 8 years old.
right, but I know the concept of it, and it just put a stigma on sharks. I mean, like it makes everybody think they're so bad and like scary and everything like that, but they're really not. Like, there's not. You shouldn't be afraid. They're always in the ocean. People think like you go into the ocean, like on Long Island. People say, "Oh yeah, there's what do you mean there's sharks here? There's no sharks here." Well, of course there's sharks here. Dude, if you come to my house, you expect me to be in my house? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree 100%, man. But like hey, we were talking about something right before we started recording and you know, something else that you do which is I think is a great thing because I do this with the striped bass is the tagging program that you do. If you want to elaborate a little bit more on that and let the people know what you do with that.
Yeah. So the tagging program, you tag sharks, certain species that are allowed in certain states. Again, I do this all over the East Coast, from New York down to Florida. So you tag species that they can. The agency, which is the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association, what they do, I tag for them, and every time I tag a shark, I tag it in the dorsal fin, and you record the full length, the fork length. If there's any scars, mating scars, if there's any damage to the shark, if there's any cuts, abrasions, if there's any, hooks in their mouth or any netting they're caught up in. I record all that on a piece of paper. I take the longitude, latitude, where it was caught, how it was caught, with what rod and reel, if it was caught from the beach, caught from a boat. You take the date, what type of shark, and whether it's a male or female, and you jot all that information down, and then I send that information to them. And now, when they jot down where it was caught on a database map that they have on a computer, and if that shark goes somewhere else and somebody else catches it, or a marine biologist is diving and they see on Shark Week, you could see when they dive down there, a couple of these sharks have tags. They'll take pictures and then they'll zoom in and see the tag number and jot it down that, oh, it was here at this longitude, latitude. And they could find out with jotting down all these points where they're congregating, where they're migrating, where they're having their pups, where they're eating, where they're feeding. And it helps us better understand a shark's behavior in the ocean. And not only that, it helps the conservation aspect of these sharks, because overseas they're doing something where they're cutting off the shark's fins, making shark fin soup, which actually has zero nutrition. It's just like a delicacy. Just the fact that, oh, I'm eating shark fin soup. They sell it for like $100 a bowl. I mean, I can understand it's a business aspect. Like, everybody needs to make money. Everybody wants to make money, but there's smarter ways to make money than destroying the ecology of our ocean by doing that. So we try to figure out where these sharks are going so we could protect those areas, and the government can protect those areas and keep commercial fishing and shark finners, which is happening overseas. I mean, it's not our side of the world, but we still are able to do things like the government marine biologists and everybody who are high up in those categories are trying to talk to the government overseas and figure out how we could limit that. Because sharks are at the top of the food chain. Anything that happens to them, it affects everything below. So that's Absolutely. The most important in the ocean to protect and conserve. So that's why I like to put my effort into it. I love the creatures so much. I love fishing for them. I love the sport, that I want to try and help them in every way I can. And I have. I mean, I've brought in a couple sharks that were caught up in netting, commercial fishing netting, and I went out with the local news by me, and we went out just to show what I do. And it was really nice to have caught one that was caught in the net, and I cut it out. I sprayed some antibacterial on it in the wound, because everybody says, oh, the salt water cleared off. Well, there's a lot of fungus in the salt water that the salt doesn't kill. So that's why I carry around this fish spray that helps them out when there's any cuts or abrasions. And it was nice that we saw it on the news, and like we got that aspect on the news to show people what's happening underwater that we don't see.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. I mean, in the name of the science and the contribution that you're doing, I mean, it's awesome because if you look at places like England, fish and chips is like, that's the big daddy plate over there. I mean, dogfish itself is just so overfished. From what I hear from a couple of commercial fishermen over here, England is buying up to 9 million pounds a month of dogfish, which is insanity because I also hear that dogfish are supposedly now a protected species
In New York and
in New Jersey. But no matter where you go fluke fishing, you're going to catch a dozen at least dogfish.
100%. That's the time of the year they're around.
It's kind of insanity that style of thinking, you're going to drain the ocean out. I don't have any kids at the moment, but maybe in the future I might have one. I'd like to take my son or my daughter fishing, and who knows, there might not be anything out there for us to catch anymore. And what you're doing is extremely commendable, especially like a couple of weeks ago with Shark Week. Who knows how much of that information that we see on TV is coming from your tags, which is
Right.
that's got to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. That is pretty awesome. I mean, it is true because over the past 9 years, dude, every summer I catch at least 100 sharks. So that's 9 summers. I definitely caught over 1,000 sharks. Tagged probably a couple hundred.
That's awesome.
Every species in New York, they don't allow you to tag the brown sharks, sand tigers, and duskies. But every other species I can tag, and that's. If I tag another species like a black tip or a spinner, it's basically like I'm tagging the other species because they all migrate together.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Now, one other thing that we did touch on when you said you were you switched over from freshwater fishing to saltwater fishing, was the gear. What type of gear are you using for, bringing in these big monsters?
Well, when I do it up here, I usually just use it's almost like the same kind of gear that you would use for striped bass and bluefish. You're just using, I mean, sometimes I use 70-pound line.
Okay.
That's which is not what you would use for striped bass because the heavier line, obviously it's a heavier fish and it's a more aggressive fight. And then the leaders, I use about 400-pound leader into a cable, into the cable section, which is toward the front of the hook. And the hooks I'm using like anywhere from 10 to 12 hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And the reels I'm using like a Shimano Saragossa 20,000, not crazy big reels. And then the fishing rods, dude, I'm using literally $25 to $100 rods that you can buy at Dick's Sporting Goods. Everybody gets fancy with these Van Stolls and the Lamy glass. Gotta pray, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, the Lamy glass are the best. Like, dude, I use Lamy glass. I hate them. I hate Lamy glass rods. They're $300, $200, $400 here and there. I hate them. But I think the price is for the guys who are using plugs and lures because you want them light. So then I could understand. But for me, I hate it because it's not for me. I'm bait casting. So it's like,
I agree with you, and you did bring up a product that now we're connected on a different level. We're going to be good friends because you Shimano. I'm a big Shimano guy. In my personal opinion, for the styles of fishing that I do, I use the Shimano Stratic 4000, and in my opinion, that is the best freaking spinning reel you can buy. There's nothing more smooth than that on the market. And no disrespect to Penn and Daiwa, I got a Saltist, I got a Battle, they're great, but to me, in my personal opinion, as hard as I fish, nothing touches the Stratic.
Dude, 100%. I have Saragossas, I have Penn Slammers, I have what else? I have the Penn Battles, Penn Fierce. Dude, that Saragossa that I have a 25,000 and a 20,000. Those things have been through hell and back, bro. I swear to God, I had that thing get dragged in one of my videos. I had that thing get dragged through the sand, and didn't clean it for like a year. I opened it up. I'm like, holy shit, there's so much sand in here. The sand turned yellow. That's how long it was in there.
Wow.
That was still working perfectly. I'm telling you right now, I could go buy a brand new Saragossa or even the one that I have, bury that shit in the sand for like 3-4 weeks, go back, grab it out of the sand, don't even wash it, bro.
Yeah.
on the rod, and I'll catch a shark, bro, and it won't fail me. I am telling you that right now. Because
Absolutely. I know it. I've been a Shimano guy for like the past 9 years now. And when I switched, I mean, it was instant love. You know what I'm saying? That thing performs the way that it's supposed to, and it has never let me down. I have never serviced my reels. Of course, in the wintertime, I give my reels a little bit of lube.
right.
But, that's just normal upkeep. You know what I'm saying? I've never had to change bearings. And I've had some screamers on the end of the line. One time I did hook up to a cobia underneath the Verrazano Bridge. And I didn't catch it, but I saw it. At first, I thought it was a shark, the way they swim up top like that. And, man, he took it and he spooled me in 94 seconds.
Oh, my God.
I literally started counting because when I felt him take off, I was just like, this is not going to be long. And I'm counting. I'm like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it was crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, it's what we love to do. Not a lot of people get it, especially the people who've never picked up a rod, never picked up a reel before, never actually caught a fish. But like when I never caught a shark on the surf. Well, at least, nothing like that. You catch a dogfish here and there, but that's no big deal. I mean, what is the biggest thing that you have brought onto the beach?
Probably, I would say a great white, unfortunately, because you're not allowed to target them. But doing what I do, you're going to hook into those fish, whether you want to or not, and you're not.
Unfortunately, that's just something that's going to happen.
Yeah, you're not supposed to target them. It's illegal to target. You shouldn't be going after them. But when you're going for the caliber of sharks that you're allowed to go for, like big bull sharks, like thrashers, and in those areas where I'm fishing, they're prevalent there. So the chances are that you might hook into one. And I hooked into one. I brought it in, 14-footer, kept it in the wash, got that hook out within, I think the hook came out in literally 3 seconds. And then I went like chin deep with a couple of my buddies to bring her back out, and she went out fine. Big thing is how you got to know how to handle them. And when you have big fish, any kind of big fish, a great white, if you catch a hammer, if you catch a big bull, the key is you need to lock that drag, bring them in as fast as you can. And if you don't have the muscle to do that, or you don't have the energy or stamina to do that, have other guys with you, friends with you, to just toss the rod off. It's not all about, look, I want to be the hot shot and reel the whole thing in myself. You want to get that fish in as quick as you can so that that they're green. Green means like they got a lot of energy to go back out. Get them in, remove the hook. If you can't remove the hook within a couple seconds, just cut that hook right at the as close as you can to the mouth, without endangering yourself, obviously. I mean, I always go in and try to get the hook out because I have the experience. I know how to maneuver it. I always have a hook remover on me. But you want to work with all these fish fast, especially the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I know you always go for the hook because I have seen it on your Instagram. There's a guy yelling at you, why don't you just use pliers? And you're just like, that's why. That was pretty good, man.
Pliers are like, a lot of people tell me, use pliers. With pliers, you can't really tell where that hook's stuck. You're just kind of like moving it and ripping it and stuff. When I have that hook in my hand, I can feel where it's caught up. On what part of the hook it's caught up, or what part of the lip it's caught up on the inside, if it's near the bone, and I can jig it out quick. Absolutely. As opposed to the pliers, it's like you're just guessing and you just get on and off, on and off. For me, it works better. I mean, I have tons of videos where I'm taking the hook out with my hand, and it's quick. I mean, everybody says it's dangerous and stuff. I mean, in my 9 years, knock on wood, I've never been bit. I've had shark rash pretty bad.
What exactly is shark rash?
That's like when you're working with the shark, whether to get it back out into the ocean, if you're bringing it in, or working on the hook, and their skin is made out of the same material as their teeth. So it's just very hard keratin. And it's like sandpaper, bro. And when you have a big shark, like down in Florida, I had 11 or 12-foot hammer. I brought it in, and I'm working on the fish, and they move like a snake. So powerful, bro. It's impossible to hold them. And I'm working on him, and he's sliding against my leg, and I have a lot of adrenaline going when I'm working with these fish. And I got the hook out, sent her back out. I'm walking up back to my rods to like take a breath and relax, and then I just feel like, ooh, why do I feel warm liquid going down my leg? I look down, just pouring blood out of my leg from the scrape on my leg. And I'm looking at it right now. It's like, well, it's discolored, like the pigmentation of my skin's gone over there. But
Wow.
that's shark-ish.
That's crazy, man. And I don't ever want to experience that, but I would love to get up to Long Island and definitely catch some sharks with you. There is one shark in particular that I want to catch. Now, I'm not 100% sure if we have them in the area. I mean, I know that they're in our waters, but I'm not sure if they come that close. I really want to catch a tiger shark.
Dude, that's funny you say that, because that's on my list too. I haven't caught one. I was with my friend who he caught it. I mean, I did all the work with the taking the hook out, this and that and the other thing. So, but I still consider him catching it because it was on his line. But dude, they are here 100%. I don't know how deep they are, but they're going to start coming closer and closer over the next few years. Mark my words, bro. What is it? August 8th today?
Yeah, it's August 8th.
By like mid-September, from now till mid-September, we're going to get big fish coming in. 100%. I'm telling you, this is like the hot time when the water starts getting warm, and we're going to start seeing big fish, because we already see the black tips coming in by the thousand. And with black tips, you got hammers, because the hammerheads, their main prey are black tips. So with the hammerheads, you'll get an occasional tiger in there. It's just got to be lucky enough to put out a nice sized bait, and hopefully they hit. But those fish are serious. Those get to like 20 or 22 feet long, and I love the pattern on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely beautiful, and that's probably the main reason why I want to catch one, is because of the patterns and just something to look at. It's like a lot of people who catch sea bass. Every time you pull it out that water, I mean, it's just a small little fish, and it tastes great. But when you see that blue and gray and black pattern on those fins, it's absolutely gorgeous.
When you see that up close in person, and you're working with the fish in the shallow wash, it's like, I don't even know. It's like majestic, bro. You look at it and you're like, holy shit! Like, this thing, I just pulled this thing in. You know what I mean? It's like, this thing is beautiful, and unfortunately, like, I don't have the time to sit there and admire it, because I'm working on the fish. I want to get her back out. But after that's all said and done, like, then you realize, you're like, holy shit. And then my girl or whoever I'm with is always videotaping. So like, I could go back to the videotape and everything. But yeah, dude, it's the crazy thing when you see them close up like that, and like, they're the apex predators in the ocean. Like, what cooler thing is that?
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you on that one. And one more thing I did want to ask you is, you talked about depth a little while ago. Like, when you're from the surf, how far are you normally casting out? Maybe 80 yards, 100 yards?
So I do 3 different methods. I cast, I drone baits out, and I also kayak baits out. Or sometimes I use a surfboard or a boogie board. And all 3 ways, I get the same luck. So casting, I maybe cast but anywhere between like 40 to like 60 yards. I use a 15-foot ugly stick. I could launch those things pretty far. If you really learn how to cast those big sticks, you could get them out pretty far. And then the drone, I'll drone out only to like 100, 150 yards. And then the kayak, same thing, maybe 200 yards. But I get the same luck with all 3. And I this year, I just started guiding on the beach. I got my guide license for hunting and fishing. So I started guiding, and because the social media page took off, and I think I took out like a good amount of groups, and every single group got on a fish, which was great, you know.
Yeah,
and I did awesome. The same way. I do a couple, like a pole casted, one droned out, and then sometimes I kayak. But the cast's just as good as the drone. You just got to get out there on a day that's less than like 3 to 4 foot waves, because you don't want to be casting in that. Then the line starts drifting down, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So speaking about guiding, like, what are these groups like normally? What's type of size of group? Is it like a 6-person group, a 2 people?
This year, it's there's 2 groups. You could go for, there's a 4-person group, which is a 4-hour, and then a 6-person group, which is a 6-hour. So whichever option adventure they'd like to choose, every extra person, so let's say you do the 4-hour with 4 people, every extra person is an extra $100, or the 6-hour gets 6 people. Every extra person after 6, it's an extra $100. But I got people coming from everywhere. I just had a group from Maryland, Pennsylvania, and then I got a group from Texas coming over. But
that's freaking awesome.
success rates are there, bro. Like every single group got on fish, so it's like, and they all had a great time. Like they said, it is the best time. They definitely want to do it again. And then most of them were they weren't fishermen. So like, what better way? First of all, we already have nobody getting into hunting and fishing. Like nobody's getting into outdoors anymore. So better way than me publicizing like fishing and getting people into fishing this way. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, man. And I see you post on a daily basis. You're out there working, you know, and that's freaking awesome. And like what you touched on, you know, nobody wants to go hunting or fishing. And in my opinion, these things right here are
100%.
probably, I mean, technology is amazing and it does great things, but it's probably one of the worst things that has happened to our society because kids just want to stay home and they're just doing this all day. You know, it really irritates the crap out of me when I go to a restaurant and, you know, you just take a glance around and you see an entire family at a table and every single one of them are in their phone instead of talking to each other. You know, that's beyond ridiculous. And, you know, I agree with what you're doing 100%. I mean, I think it's freaking awesome. I think I saw you post today, or was it yesterday, something about some groups want you to fly out to San Francisco.
Yeah, on the West Coast, I have like 2 groups. They were telling me, come to the West Coast, like come guide us. We'll pay you on the West Coast, whatever. And I said, if I could get another 2 groups on the West Coast in Cali to book with me, I'll do it. I'll make the trip and then spend a week there and get everybody in. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, just the air flight alone, you know, to get over there, it's going to cost you some money. So you got to make sure that you're making it back at least, you know. And,
exactly.
I think it's freaking cool. Another thing I've been looking at, and I've seen them online, is the Sharkbite Gear, man. Let's show everybody what you got on over there. These shirts are pretty freaking cool.
They're pretty cool. I got on the back, it says, I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, just fish. I like it, man.
They're pretty cool. I mean, I like them. I have them in blue and pink. The pink's for the girls, or if guys want to wear pink. But they're pretty cool. I every time I'm on the beach, everybody asks me where I got them. You know, I just like on the back how it's big and bold. It just says "Just Fish." You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it was pretty cool. Just a little idea. And then I have a couple other ones on the website that are reflective. It's pretty cool. You take a photo and the shark jaw just lights up if you have the flash on at night. A lot of the guys shark fishing at night. You know, you could take a picture and it just the jaw lights up, which is cool for the picture. And they're also pretty nice shirts. They're waterproof shirts. They're shark rash resistant, which is nice. And they're like that Under Armour quality. They're not cheap shirts, you know what I mean? I figured I spend the money and just get everything pretty good quality. Like these are 60-40 cotton polyester.
Okay.
That's like what everybody wears now.
Same as mine.
Yeah.
They're comfortable, man, for sure, man. But I'm looking at the clock and I see we're running out of time, man. So I just want to give you a moment to just tell everybody where they can find you at. And I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. And go ahead.
Thanks, brother. So on TikTok, it's Li Sharkman. And then Instagram is Li Sharkman Official. And YouTube is Li Sharkman.
Absolutely, man. That's great. And I hope everybody watching definitely checks you out, dude, because I can tell you for sure, since the first day I hit follow, I've been definitely entertained every day, man. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time and coming on, and keep on doing what you're doing because it's phenomenal. And I wish you the best success with it for sure, man.
Thanks, bro. You're the man.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Dude.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that chat I had with Chris. It's like they say, 2 Chris's don't make a right? But yeah, man, I hope we shed some light on some people that don't really have too much experience with shark fishing or actually know about sharks like that. Chris does a lot of work with a lot of organizations to bring good scientific data to the table. And like I said earlier in the interview with him, a lot of stuff that we see on Shark Week are because of people like Chris and the stuff that they do, letting us get that data so we can, you know, see it for the world, for everybody to see this on these big primetime shows like Shark Week and stuff like that. And I commend Chris and give him a pat on the back for what he's doing. It's definitely phenomenal. So guys, this week I'm running out of time, so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll catch you next week. I'm Chris, Tight Lines. I'm out.